I'm Jayashree Kurup, I'm editor MBTV, and I have with me some very important guests. We have Mr. Amrit Abhijat, he's the mission director for the Housing for All. We have Shailesh Agarwal, who's the ED of the Building Materials and Technology Promotion Council. And today we're addressing a very important issue that impacts every one of you. How will you get that affordable house? With the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, sir, one thing that has happened is a segment that was neglected in the market, so to speak. The affordable housing up to 30 lakh, up to 15 lakh, the housing across the country. It has seemed to have picked up steam. Help us understand what the statistics show.
See, the response to PMAY-Urban, and particularly within that, there is a segment you may be aware is the credit linked subvention, which has the element of MIG1 and MIG2, which specifically caters to the middle income group also. So the overall pickup of PMAY is absolutely fantastic, and we are very, very happy with the kind of progress the states have shown in picking up this program. But talking to about the specific section of the MIG, I think we have moved up to the extent of doing about 1 lakh plus cases in just a little time, and it is likely to pick up in a much bigger way. Overall, the figures as of now shows to be about 4.10 lakhs, which is many times more than what we had achieved in such interest subvention schemes earlier. Largely, I feel that there is this aspirational class of people, there is this class of new urban corporate sector people, those who are coming to cities because of migration and urbanization and new growth in the economy, and they need to settle with their housing issues very fast. And with this kind of a support which we are offering from the government through the CNAs and the banks, makes it very much possible for them to get a house of their own choice very quickly and at a place of their own choice close to their destinations. And we see that this growth will not only sustain, but it is likely to be much faster in the coming years ahead.
So, when we, how is this scheme different from schemes? We have had affordable housing schemes earlier. What is it that made the public pick this up so much faster? And what are the key things that people should know about?
See, talking about Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban as a whole, we went by experience. And experience showed that when we had only such kind of houses which were meant for redevelopment or rehabilitation in slums, it has had an element where only a certain class of problem was being addressed. So what we undertook, therefore, was a cafeteria approach towards providing housing. And in which, in this PMAY, we had 4 different kinds of verticals, which is known as the beneficiary in construction, where an individual having his or her own plot or a plot provided by the government could have been used for an individual housing. The second vertical was the affordable housing in partnership, where the person or the family does not even a house of his own. So a development authority or a government body or a private person with a partnership with the government could have can host a building under the AHP vertical, and this has had some fantastic progress across the country. I'll just come to that. Then the third element was for the slums, where they could be developed with the private partner, and cross monetization was also this. This is particularly relevant for mega urban cities where slums need to be taken up in a very different way. And of course, the credit linked interest subvention, which has succeeded in a big way as compared to the earlier versions. So what this cafeteria approach does is, suppose I am a person who's come in from some small town and I'm planning to set up a house in Bangalore, in Mumbai. I am not very sure about the distances and the kind of people I would be staying with. I go and select my own house in an upmarket place where I buy a posted along with what the government is giving, what I can afford myself, and what I can take from loan. So these 3 elements are then fused in together. So a person is able to buy a house of his own choice. So I call it B3, like it's between the builder, buyer, and the banker, and the government fully backs it. The extent of assistance in this is to the extent that we support or a 3-level field where 18 lakh, 12 lakh and 9 lakh income is taken. But by and large, you translate this 2.5, 2.6 lakh, the upfront interest subsidy that we give. If you translate it across 20 years, which is the payback period, one can pay back earlier, this translates into a gain of about 6 lakh rupees, which even conventionally speaking for a 60 lakh house is a strict 10% discount that you are getting over a 20-year period. Or if it's lesser, maybe for 35 lakhs or something, you are getting so much more. This, and also there is some relief in the GST. So it makes so much more sense. But coming back to the original question of why the cafeteria approach is that for areas like you have to draw a comparison between a Bokaro and a Bombay. You have to draw a comparison between a Hyderabad and maybe Gorakhpur. So the same flat could be got for cheaper in other cities which are not mega cities. So that made a lot of sense for B and C grade towns also, where PMAY really picked up well. But BLC component was particularly successful because not everybody or not every city has land crunch so much. So what people they then do is that they make their own house along with CLS's vertical, or they take money from the coffers of Government of India, where we pay about 1.5 lakhs. Additional fund is provided by the state in states like UP and MP. The range is anywhere between 1 lakh to 1.5 lakh, but states like Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu are happening even more. So there are 3-4 components which go on to make a BLC house. One is that the Government of India's contribution, the state government's contribution, the urban local body may also want to contribute. Say, for example, for the toilet component or for the electricity component, they have various schemes.
Through the other missions.
Through the other missions or through their own resources as well. And the fourth is the contribution of the beneficiary. I have seen a transition in the way government schemes, particularly in housing, has been perceived as. As mission director, my experience is that most of the places I visit to, people I meet who have been benefited, now no longer want to stay in the typical my-bap culture. They don't want to see themselves as beneficiaries as if they were going around asking for it. They demand it. They want to live a good, dignified living, as Honorable Prime Minister has stated a number of times, that they celebrate their happiness in a much, much bigger way. They tend to make their houses much more livable, colorful. They are celebrating the opportunity of the government coming forward, of them being assisted by the government in a very, very substantive way. So I feel that it is not only us in the government who are very confident and we are very gung-ho about the PMAY. I think that the people have embraced it in a manner which hitherto was not even conceived, because we see tears roll down, when they bring us to their homes, and how they want to showcase how PMAY has not only given them a house and 4 walls, but how has it transformed their capacity to study well, their capacity to have better living, their capacity to interact with the society, because you can call people, now you can go to your houses. The confidence and the dignity that it has brought about, particularly for the women lot also, because they are the ones who suffered more on account of not having a good house or a congested place. So there has been a paradigm shift.
In fact, one of the studies that we did, where we took the census 2011, which was the last census, and we took the data and found that a large number of housing shortfall was either because it was decrepit housing or congested housing. But also there is a very aspirational class that is in the cities, and that is being catered to as well through the LIG, MIG1, MIG2. And that seems to, overall, like you said, you seem to have got the imagination of the Indian public. So we ran a poll, and one of the things that really makes this attractive, like you said, is the CLSS subsidy scheme. About 49% of people said that they find it very easy to, they have availed of the CLSS and they're very happy with it. There are some teething troubles in some parts, and we felt that that is something that some of our consumers have been raising. These issues are being resolved?
Yes. We are aware, and I'm sure I was expecting some questions on this also. But prior to that, I'll just run through the statistics. See, 75 lakh is the overall achievement of PMAY as on today.
Sure.
And we would be moving close to, because we are at 73. In just a couple of days, we will be crossing 75. Of that, about 40 lakh houses are being made at this point of time. And of this, 15 lakh houses have been completed and occupied. And in this 15 lakh is about 4.10 of the CLSS.
And one of the largest bank of urban housing we've had
Yes.
in about 3-4 years' time.
Yes, and see, what CLSS has actually done is brought the banker, builder, and the beneficiary together. But there will be problems because the process of due diligence just belong to the banking community, and there are certain concerns which the banker must be able to address. Say, for example, the address, the income tax limits, the proper documentation, because the relationship that the banker is actually forming is that for 20 years. So they have also been, linked to the fact that somebody should not be taking n number of loans at showing different addresses and those kind of things. So due diligence just takes some time. But there was this input which was given to us that perhaps in the form itself, we are asking many questions which tends to become cumbersome. We have addressed that issue, and probably we will be coming out with more. Also, the time taking between the posting of the claim from the bank to the CNAs, the National Housing Bank and the HUDCO, takes some time. So we have got into a process of rolling it over faster, and we see that come the month of March and April, there will be a faster turnaround, because this gap of 2 to 3 months or 15 days or 20 days, depending on the number of claims pending, was an irritant, and we are trying to close to about a week's time when these could be settled by the NHB and then can be thrown onto the bank. So,
there you are. In the next 1 to 2 months, you should be able to see the CLSS worries easing.
Yes, I would like to assure you people that look, we are running this scheme, and we are getting feedback. We are very responsive to it, which is why we are here today to hear you out. And it is a work in progress. We have evolved simultaneously, because frankly speaking, with this kind of a stupendous success in CLSS and the kind of interest being shown and banks being laden, and the issues of funding being haven't taken care of, because that is a problem government schemes do face from time to time. But PMAY, the government of India, has assured us, made an arrangement through the National Urban Housing Fund, which is being manned by the BMTPC. We get all the money that we require. A cabinet approval of 60,000 crore is with us. So any money that is required is pushed into the banks in a few days' time after the processes are over. So funding, the research and design about how the scheme is functioning is all with us, and we keep addressing your issues. If there are certain complaints, we do have a helpline also. They would definitely be looking into that. We keep getting written complaints to the email also. We are responsive.
Yes.
So we want to assure that, yes, we are looking into it.
So let's pick up the second thing. In the budget, the ATIBA incentive to the private sector was enhanced so that you could build more houses in the affordable segments. How will that impact the PMAY-Urban?
Many ways. See, you have just mentioned about the ATIB, the fact of the
tax.
The council, GST council is presently seized with the issue, how we have increased the area of MIG, how affordable housing fund, one of the another important funds which have been made through the NHB, is that from the priority sector lending, if the savings ensure that this is then passed on to the National Housing Bank, which then passes it on to the banks. So the bank's lending capacity, the rate at which the banks get the money is cheaper, and so they pass on that benefit to the consumer also. So we are really looking at a 360-degree change, because come RERA, come the various codes of GST, come the ATIBA, the infrastructure status,
and the direct tax benefits.
These are all ensuring that the housing sector is not only clean, but it becomes very desirable for good money to come in, for investments to come in, and there are tax stops also, and there are push factors also, which will make it easier for the building community to make it. And now, as I speak today, I take this opportunity of saying that given the financial arrangements being done, the administrative issues being taken care of, rules and regulations, there is this huge opportunity where we could make houses in much more capacity. But do we have the required pace to make it from? So, and here comes in the global housing technology challenge. Because
so
given
before we go to that, we would like to tell you that the big issue, one was the delay in the funds that people were talking about. The other big thing was, how do I get my house on time? And that's where the Global Housing Technology Challenge comes in. And it's good that we tell people that there is this issue is also being addressed. So,
see, it so happened that there's just a small background to the Global Housing Technology Challenge. The Honorable Prime Minister, in one of the important meetings, we call it Pragati, was reviewing the progress of the scheme, and we were discussing of how to be able to address the massive housing demand that is taking up, and not only in PMAY, but how to actually make a huge dent into the manner in which housing is done in the country, the construction sector is looked at in this country, and how also the people adapt to these technological changes. So it came as a suggestion from the Honorable Prime Minister that we should have global housing, technology challenge of sorts. When he just suggested that let's do something which can get all the possible technologies people are making their houses in the advanced countries, in other countries where this is being done, particularly in the affordable sector. So we started conceiving about it, and then we developed a whole model for a very long time, because all the aspects needed to be taken care of, developing a database, the processes that we will follow, having roundtable conferences for meetings with stakeholders, and now we have come up with the final schedule, and it's to be inaugurated by the Honorable Prime Minister himself on the 2nd of March, the next month, and we are all preparing for it in a big way. Let us I'll just put it in short that there are three main components to it. One component is the Construction Technology India, which is on the 2nd and 3rd, where after the inauguration we will have delegates, experts from all over the world who will be talking on new technology, who will be exhibiting their new technologies. There will be an exhibition where the Indian partners and the foreign collaborators and the global technology providers will get to interact, will sign their MOUs, they will be exposed to new technologies and how these could be adopted here. There will be a technical evaluation committee which will look into the aspects of it being technologically feasible here in this country, because we cannot get anything from anywhere, because ours is a very diverse climatic country, and there are specific zones and we need to take care of that. So Shailesh Agarwalji, who's here with me, is looking at the technical aspects of its adoption. But post that, we will have lighthouse projects where 6 regions in this country will be given lighthouse projects to be made after the technical evaluation committee has analyzed. And these lighthouse projects will be used as open laboratories where people can go and see engineering students, the political public representatives, the mass media, everybody can go and see for themselves how these houses are being made, why it is good, how it is done, whether it can be adapted at a greater scale. And this is how it will start percolating. Minus that, there is also this aspect that there may be some technologies which are very good, but look nascent at this stage, or perhaps need the assistance of policy or finance or some other input that is desired. So there will be accelerator workshops where a particular technology looks very good. They have tested it also, it's proven, but it needs to go big. It needs the support of the government or the IITs. We will take them along on that. And there is this incubator support where such technologies which look very good and potentially can be taken up, need support of the R&D, need support of the government. We will be giving the incubator support where the various IITs of the country, especially IIT Madras, Bombay, Kharagpur, Roorkee, they will be assisting such people. So it's a 3-degree paradigm we are looking at. There will be also changes in the SORs, the BIS codes, the rules that will bring in this technology. We are very confident that post this challenge, and as it grows in process, because it's going to be a biennial feature where every 2 years we will be doing with partners of NAREDCO and CREDAI and the WRI World Resources Institute, which is assisting us in a big way. We will be able to change the manner in which houses are made in this country, particularly affordable housing, the manner in which these are adopted by the people. So We are actually looking at a paradigm change where houses can be told to be done in about 4 to 6 months time. Individual houses can be then purchased on a day-to-day basis, that today I'm going to purchase a house, and then they can go to a housing warehouse, and they can buy their goods and can actually go and put their housing together. So we are looking at a situation where a house will not be a big mega affair where you plan. It can be something that can be done faster, quicker, in a very, very sustainable way, where resource efficiency, issues of climate, issues of sustainability, energy saving are all addressed in one, because we also are responsible and conscious about the issues of climate, about the issues of pollution, etc. that these brings forth. So these technologies will necessarily be green. In fact, that is the underlying principle of the global housing challenge, and it is going to be an affair where we feel that we are coming to the cause of this nation in a big way, and we are extremely motivated. And I invite all of you to log on to our website, gstc-india.gov.in, where these concepts are discussed in detail, and you can also provide your inputs and talk to us and know more about us, because not only for people, those who need housing, but those who think that they need to talk to us, they need to discuss, they need to know more, because they would want to see the country progress. What are we doing in the housing sector? This is the event they should be logging on to.
So there's a big event on the 2nd and 3rd of March, which will be, you will be going live with it, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And you can see it live on Magic Bricks, you can see it live on the ministry websites, and they will be amplifying it, so you can be part of it. Let's quickly start taking the queries that have started coming in. We have a lot of queries. There is Avinash Kadam of Pune, who says he bought a 1 BHK for 465 square feet at Kesnath, Bagoli, and submitted documents 5 months ago. I had selected the tenure of 30 years. I have not got any reply, neither from the bank nor the government agency. What should I do? This is where, Avinash, I think the issue that you mentioned, there was a bottleneck which is being addressed, and you should be shortly hearing. In the next month and a half is what the mission director.
I'll take his question up, and so we expect a response soon.
So the queries that you're giving in, we will be raising the issues, and these will go to the mission, and the mission will address it directly as well. So you can expect an early resolution of your issues. There is Vandana of Allahabad. I'm not living with my husband and can't provide his documents required to avail PMAY. What do I do to avail the scheme benefits? We both do not own a house. Clearly, they are separated, and they want to. She's not able to provide all the documents. Does that matter? Documentation is actually one of the issues that we would like to raise, because a lot of people have been saying that there are very stringent documentation, and sometimes it's not people are not able to fulfill these. Is there any other?
As I told you, regarding the forms and the requirements, we are trying to simplify it, and there will be more to be heard on this. But regarding this problem specifically, I really could not understand the marital status and stuff. But if they are married and not living together, but then this issue will have to be resolved with the bank, because for the banking purposes, they will be deemed to be one, and both the incomes have to be put in together.
Yes.
So I think one of them can avail it.
What you should actually do is probably go to your bank and figure out how you can sort this out. And if there is further queries, you can always write in, and we'll raise it to the ministry. There is Nilesh of Nasik, who purchased a flat in 2014, took a home loan from Diwan Housing Finance. First owner is woman in the agreement. My family's total yearly income is 2,45,000. So please tell me if I'm eligible for PMAY subsidy scheme.
Yes.
You are actually, it's below 3 lakh, and they should be able to get a 30 square meter house. But sir, some of the people have been raising this issue that if I'm with my amount of money that I earn, if I'm eligible for a 30 square meter house, suppose I buy a bigger house, does that matter?
See, we have defined the areas also in PMAY. So there are houses where you can go up to 200 square meters and 101. So you just have to follow that.
You have to follow that. If your annual income is up to 3 lakhs, what you are entitled to is a 6.5
Yes,
subsidy, interest subvention on a 30 square meter house. But if they buy a bigger house than that, will they
for the MIG component, they can buy a bigger house because that actually.
So what will happen is you'll get a smaller subsidy, not 6.5 lakhs. Yes. You'll probably get a 3 or 4% subsidy. And these are things that your banker should be able to tell you. If your banker is not, go back to the ministry website. I think you've got all the details.
Yes, there is a FAQ section, frequently asked questions, which have taken, which has evolved over a period of time. So a lot of these questions are available there, and we would be happy to respond back.
There is Ashok of Hyderabad, says he's a central government employee. Earlier in 2013, I took a home housing loan in my wife's name as a joint applicant for about 21.5 lakh in LIC HFL, and it is continuing. If I take a new house flat with a new loan, can I get PMAY subsidy?
I'm presuming that the earlier housing was, since PMAY was not there in 2014, they can, of course, sell that house and move up.
Yeah.
But if you have not taken a housing loan earlier, or even if you have taken it,
but not taken the subsidy.
Not taken the subsidy, you are entitled to be buying a house. So, and being a central government employee, he can, of course, avail it.
However, if he has another house, this is only for the first house, right, sir?
Yes, you will be allowed to be taking it once. So I'm presuming that they have not taken it earlier, so that should not be a problem.
So you should be able to apply for it. There is Madhvi Jogia who says how to apply, where to apply, what docs required, and how long it takes to approve and apply. Madhvi, you have to first get a loan and then go through the process.
I'm presuming, Madhvi, that this is a CLSS loan you're talking about, because if it is PMAY, then you could also go to your municipal corporation, you could also go to the website and get yourself registered under the AHP vertical, or if you want to make your own house.
Yes.
But presuming that this is a credit-linked subsidies in subvention that you are claiming for, I think you go and have a look at the kind of house you want to buy and get the documents there, and then go to the banker and give your credentials and your details, fill up the CLSS form there, where I think you would be required to give your annual income, your PAN card, and such details, and it should not be a problem. I think that it will be sorted out in about months or 2 time. Yeah.
So consumers, what you have to understand is that the onus of buying that house is on you. It's not that the government is going to find a house for you to buy.
Which is what the beautiful thing is, that you go and look up your own house and you want to buy it, and then you talk to the bank for the interest submission. You actually demand and claim that you are worthy enough and you have the required document for CLSS, and the bank will help you out. The government is there to help you. In case of any problem, you can approach the district level bankers committee. You can speak to the officials posted there, the municipal commissioner, the district magistrate, so on and so forth. But largely, I feel that apart from the fact that due diligence is an issue, and I am also conscious that this needs to be done because the bankers have to ensure that it goes to the right person. Post that, there is no hassle after that.
So find your house, go out, find your house, see what you can afford, see what your, make sure that all your documents are available, and then go to your bank, take a loan, and then fill in the form for the CLSS subsidy.
For this trouble, what you are actually getting is quite a 2,500 reduction in your EMI overall on a monthly basis for 20 years is certainly worth the salt, and go through the bureaucracy. People want it right then and there, but I would feel that if your documentations are good, you will be able to get it quite soon.
Yeah. We do have a couple more queries about delays in the CLSS. We've got Sushma Singh of Hyderabad, Telangana, who's taken a flat under PMAY, took a loan from HDFC, took 18 lakhs loan, and the banker said after complete disbursement of the loan, I will get a message from NHB about PMAY subsidy if I'm eligible or not. Our family income is 8 lakhs per annum. Can you provide me any contact number? Actually, like the mission director said, there has been some amount of, there has been small teething troubles which is being resolved. So in the next 1 to 2 months, what is being assured is that this will be taken care of. But now that your query is with us, we are passing it on to the ministry.
Yeah, also the fact if the household income is 8 lakhs, as she's told, first of all, she is eligible.
Yeah.
So, she just needs to post the documents and we will take it up, and she should be able to get a house.
Sure. And there's Nitin Narayan of Mumbai, who's working as a freelancer in the field of education, and his income is not fixed. Annual income goes around 6 to 8 lakhs, and I'm very much interested to buy a home under PMAY. Kindly let me know if I'm eligible under the scheme or any other government scheme.
Nitin, good news. You are perfectly eligible. There's no problem. If you have a irregular income, that is not what is looked at. What is looked at definitely is your ITR. Yeah. If you have your income tax returns between 6 and 8 lakh rupees, I think you will qualify for the CLSS, and you just need to apply and get it.
So here I would take a small this thing and say that a lot of people who have informal income, like Nitin, some of it comes in cash, they may be traders, they may be small petty workers. How do they make themselves eligible for a CLSS loan?
See, a lot of NBFCs and HFCs, particularly, the big players in the town, have been able to devise methods through which they are able to study the informal incomes, depending upon the purchases they make, depending on other documents that they may have. And yes, there are issues, particularly when dealing with people, those who do not have kind of documents, but it is much better, and they could approach the NBFCs and HFCs who are able to account for the informal incomes also, and develop a process where a document is then also created.
A good idea also is to, whatever income you get, route it through today everybody has a bank account, right? We were talking about over 3 crore bank accounts that have been created. Route your income through your bank account, withdraw as much as you like, but put it into the bank account.
So they study the pattern of investments, the bank account, so they are able to develop a process through which it becomes more transparent, and it's always better to be on the right side.
And you will become part of the formal process, even if you don't have a salary slip, so to speak. There's Bharat of Pune who says, I'm physically challenged and my wife is a housewife. My net monthly salary is about 49,740. In what way and manner can I avail the PMAY CLSS scheme, as I'm planning to buy a property in Pune in municipal corporation?
So this translates to roughly about 6 lakh rupees a year. Just fine for CLSS. I think the first thing you need to do is look up our website, go through it, the details of CLSS, which vertical, which category in the CLSS you will be applicable for. I think you will be able to get a 6.5% interest subvention. Talk to the banks there, the banks which are in your vicinity, and select the property that you want to buy with this kind of subvention. I think you can go in for a 5 times. You can go in for about a 30-35 lakh house, and should be good.
Yeah. And you should be eligible for that. Yeah. There is a couple of queries that are coming. How do I ensure that my house is completed on time? Here I'm going to go to Shailesh and say, Shailesh, with the kind of technologies that we are bringing in from around the world, how can consumers be sure that their houses will be completed on time? We're talking about quality, we're talking about time, and we're talking about standardization, right?
First of all, if you look at our conventional construction practices, most of the time you will find that the projects are caught between cost overruns and time overruns. See, the way, because demand is always shooting, and so is the price of materials and other things, and we don't have control over the site. So most of the projects, if you see whether a builder or developer or government projects, they are caught in between cost overrun and time overrun. So there is need to bring in some sort of new thinking in the construction sector, so as to say, to bring some sort of practices wherein we can decide everything beforehand and just do the things in time.
So fewer variables.
Fewer variables. So the word over the thing which is being practiced is off-site construction. We call it factory made. Yeah. Factory made, components, like you see in metros. I always give the example of metros. Look how bridges were constructed earlier in our days when we were child, and now how they are being made. You just bring some sort of columns and girders, and you just erect them in a day. Yeah. So the idea here is you make the components in the factory, bring it to the site, and you just assemble it like a child playing with the Lego blocks.
Yeah.
Block by block, you can make the entire building within no time.
And pollution is also controlled.
Now, as you said, the advantage is once you make the things in the factory, quality is achieved.
Yeah.
Because it is done in the factory, and when it comes out of the factory, it is QC.
Yeah.
We call it QC check.
Yeah.
One thing.
So that is quality. Your
that is
quality.
quality. That is quality. And as Amrit was explaining to you, that India is a diverse country, and today morning I felt an earthquake here. So we are a country where it's a diverse country, and we have a different geoclimatic zones, so as to say. Seismically, we are very, very active. So all these new technologies we are talking about, a model construction, offsite construction, they are disaster resilience. And another word told by him is resource efficiency. You see, we are forgetting one very important thing is our resources. What we are going to leave for our posterity. Do we have enough air? Do we have enough water? Do we have enough materials? Like for example, if I talk about cement is based on a limestone. And limestone is nothing but a mountain. It is extracted from the mine. So do we have enough cement? Do we have enough other materials? So we need to have resource efficient technologies. I don't say you replace cement by something other wonderful material, but we have to use cement optimally.
Right.
And the way to this is to go for factory-made components.
Right.
Quality, then climate. If we talk about, everybody is talking about climate. We are signatory to Paris Agreement, and we need to be very conscious about climate. So all these technologies, when we talk about greenhouse gases and all these things, they are environmentally responsible. Now, to talk about time and cost, as you said, time. When you are doing everything in the factory, so you decide everything, and just come to the site. Once you have the foundation, you can just select and start living.
Will it be more expensive? Most of my consumers say, मेरे लिए क्या है? जल्दी खत्म करेंगे, time पे खत्म करेंगे, मगर ज़्यादा pay करना पड़ेगा.
Okay, I'll come to that also. First of all, so time is money. If I put it that way. So you just do everything in the factory, bring it and just erect it. And there are examples in India. Right in Mohali, a mall was constructed in 48 hours, and it was witnessed by Home Minister of India. And right here in Noida, I don't want to say the name of the developer, but he claimed to construct a story in 3 days. So 33-story building in 100 days. So time is saved. That's what through GSTC we are trying to do. We are trying to create an enabling eco-environment, because right now any new thing which comes to, again, it depends on a capital cost and other costs. Okay, so right now the cost is slightly higher. It will come down once there are economies of scale and there is demand. So through GSTC, we are trying to create that enabling ecosystem. When you go to the market and ask for that, I want to buy a factory-made thing, the cost will come down. As of now, if given economies of scale, the cost is not more than 10%.
अगर आपको आज एक फैक्ट्री में घर खरीदना हो, you have to pay 10% more. मगर वो 10% जब ये टेक्नोलॉजी ज्यादा अडॉप्ट हो जाएंगे, तो ये 10% कम हो जाएगा, and there will be more people constructing in the factories. There will be more adoption of these technologies. But अगर ये 10% ज्यादा भी हो, अगर आपको ये घर जो आप 3 साल के लिए वेट करते हैं, अगर वो 3 महीने में बन जाए या 6 महीने में बन जाए, आपका सेविंग तो वहीं पे हो गया, because you're not paying rent. You don't have to run around waiting for your house to be complete. So there is a cost benefit analysis. And यहाँ पे steadily ये
just to add, we need to change our mindset. We are always talking about initial cost. There is something called life cycle cost. Life cycle cost is nothing but initial cost plus maintenance cost plus disposable cost.
Right.
I should be responsible. The kind of house I am living in, I should be responsible of how I am going to dispose it once its service life is over. So let's talk about life cycle cost. These houses are literally maintenance free. You don't require any maintenance. Leakage proof, climate resilient, all kinds of things. Energy efficient. So you require less load.
तो आप थोड़ा एक्स्ट्रा पे करेंगे, मगर रनिंग कॉस्ट घर का कम ही होगा. We have people from all over the country, and we are trying to keep it bilingual so that everybody can join in. I'll take a few more queries, sir. We actually over time, but we would like to take a few more queries, because we can see that there are a lot of people who are live here. Kajal Das of Kolkata says, I'm an unmarried working lady, take home salary of 3,60,000 per annum. I want to take a loan of 17,73,000. Will I be eligible for PMAY scheme? Of course she will be, right?
Yeah. Kajal, you are eligible to take it, and you can log on to our website, read more about CLSS. It is always better that in the India of today, I would want the recipient or the person who's applying to be more armed with knowledge.
Right.
And knowledge is available on the internet medium. You can log on to our website, because अगर आप जानकारी करके जाएंगे तो आप उन क्वेश्चंस को, उनकी जरूरतों को बेहतर समझ पाएंगे, जिसकी वजह से आपको दिक्कत होती है। तो क्या डॉक्यूमेंट चाहिए, अगर उसको आप एक कैटलॉग बना लेंगे, डॉक्यूमेंट 1, डॉक्यूमेंट 2, डॉक्यूमेंट 3, दे आर नॉर्मली, हम जब स्कूल कॉलेज पास करते हैं तो हम लोग एक डॉक्यूमेंट के प्रोसेस से गुजरते हैं। तो किसी सरकारी स्कीम में अगर आप इंटरेक्ट कर रहे हैं तो इससे आपको बहुत कुफ्त नहीं होना चाहिए। कारण ये, क्योंकि ये पब्लिक मनी है, अगर ये किसी गलत व्यक्ति के हाथ लग जाता है या किसी गलत संस्था के माध्यम से इसमें करप्शन होता है या कोई किसी के नाम को लेके करेगा, तो ये जो प्रोसेसेस बनाए गए हैं ड्यू डिलिजेंस के, ये टैक्स पेयर के ऑनेस्ट मनी को सही तरीके से लगाया जाए, उसके लिए चेक्स बनाया गया। थोड़ी तकलीफ होती है, परंतु ये बहुत जरूरी है कि गलत लोगों को ना जाए और सही व्यक्ति को जरूर मिले। तो इस वजह से इसको थोड़ा कर ले। You are eligible, Kajal, and I wish you all the best. And if in case there is any problem, then do write to us.
And Kajal, remember, your first thing is to go to your bank. With the income that you have, how much loan will the bank disburse on the basis of your income? Basis that whatever the loan is, because of your income fitting into the category.
You also have a CLSS calculator भी कई banks ने अपने बनाए हुए, उनके आप YouTube tutorial देख लीजिए या उनके site पे चले जाइए। जब आप अपने income को, when you will log on to your income and you will ask for a CLSS, they will be able to examine it and say that you are eligible for this much and this will be your EMI pre-CLSS and post-CLSS.
Right. CLSS में आपको महीने में 2000 to 2800
का मदद मिलेगी, जिसकी वजह से आपका monthly EMI घट जाएगा.
There's Aditya Das again from Kolkata, who says he availed 34 lakh loan from a nationalized bank on April 18th for 30 years as an officer staff. Can I get the subsidy under CLSS? My annual income is about 6 lakh.
When did you take it?
April 18th of the
Yes, he will be eligible. There are certain questions where people say that they have taken this loan prior to the CLSS having begun. That is a slightly problematic domain, but this one is perfectly fine. Absolutely.
It's in 2008.
Yes, you can take it.
Purushottam from Medavakkam, Chennai. I have bought a house 4 months ago in Medavakkam of Chennai, and I had availed a home loan from Axis Bank for a sum of 21 lakh for a 10-year period of 16 years. Can anyone tell me how to avail this scheme and if I'm eligible for this scheme? Yes, it's in the form, right?
Yes, because till 18 lakhs is what we funded. The rest would be on this thing. So otherwise eligible, yes.
Sir, Arnab of Kolkata has picked up one of the points that you've made. What is the subsidy in GST rate for the LIG group? Sir, if it is in the 30 and 60 square meter category, there is it comes to 8 lakhs. Yes. But you, I remember in our last show that you had announced that all affordable housing PMAY schemes would be eligible for an 8% subsidy.
Yes, in fact, and also there is some correction happening. So keep close eye on the news, and you will get some good news again.
As we speak, already Pradhan Mantri ne bol diya tha ki there is going to be a correction in the GST rates. The GST Council, as we speak, is meeting today, and there will be a announcement later in the day. What had happened was earlier, when the GST rate was 12% for the rest of the market, it was 8% for the affordable housing. Yes. But today, there is going to be a correction, a new announcement. So watch the GST announcement. You will be able to figure out. After that, we will be doing further discussions around GST. So keep logged into MDTV. We will be announcing what corrections have come. There is Shiva from Pune, who says annual income for family is calculated based on net or gross salary? Net salary. Sushil of Pune says he bought his first home in April 2016 with a home loan of 22 lakh from a nationalized bank. But I am a single owner of the house. Now they say you are not eligible because there is no woman in your property. My income is also eligible as per scheme. Please suggest how you can avail this benefit.
No, this is an MIG home. Is it in the EWS?
Sir, he has taken for 22 lakh. So I'm assuming it would be either LIG or NIG.
That shouldn't really be a problem.
If, in fact, we had a query like this sometime earlier also, where the person said that I am a single person and I don't have any woman who can join me.
No, in CLSS, in particularly MIG, we've told that there is no insistence on male or female because we presume that an MIG person has arrived at a stage in life where issues of ownership and all that is not a very contested domain. Having said that, if there is no way, if a person is an unmarried adult, then whether she's a man or a woman doesn't really make a difference, and one is eligible, so one is fine. Yeah.
So if you have further problems,
if she is staying alone, if he is there and he is not married, then absolutely no problem. Even if otherwise, they could be a joint property owner.
Yeah. So if you don't have a woman with whom you can share the ownership rights,
yes.
Mr. Abhijat says that you are still entitled to a CLSS loan.
Unmarried adult is fine.
Right. There is Raghavendra of Bangalore who says, how does the subsidy get delivered? I earn 8 lakh per annum. I'm going to buy a flat worth 50 lakh and I'm giving 10 lakhs as 20% down payment. Now for the remaining 40 lakhs, I will apply for a home loan with 20 years of tenure.
Yes, so you can approach your banker, fill up the CLSS form along with the loan application that you've done earlier. They will be able to calculate the advantages that you derive from it, and I think he's eligible, so it's absolutely no problem.
And we are going to take the last query of the morning. I know you have more queries. Please keep them coming. We will keep sending it to the ministry for addressing. There is G. Madhukar of Hyderabad, and as I speak, there's another query that's come. There's G. Madhukar of Hyderabad who says, I'm a government employee with an annual income between 10 to 13 lakhs. Am I eligible for PMAY CLSS scheme? If eligible, how can I approach and whom shall I approach to get the benefit?
Approach if you've already selected a house, then there's absolutely no problem. You approach the nearest bank and you talk to them regarding your CLSS eligibility. Also log on to our website and understand the rules of the game. Since you are also a government servant, I would also ask you to have a comparison of whether you could go for an HBA rather than a CLSS, because I don't think you will be applicable for both. So you take a CLSS or an HBA, whichever is more advantageous, because in case of government servants, that obviously will be a factor they should keep in account of.
Sure. So that's a special advice to the government servants. And now the very last query, Rohit Singh of Noida. How do I check the status of my application if I've applied for CLSS? This is a running query, sir. When I've applied for a CLSS, how do I know? Is there any way of knowing what status of the application?
We have spoken to the CNAs, and we should hopefully be having a CLSS tracker where the person will be able to track the status of the documentation and what is happening. So the next financial year should be, we should be in a position to actually say where it is pending or it's been actually cleared.
Right.
So,
Shailesh, closing remarks from you?
Global Housing Challenge.
Global Housing Challenge, you want to know?
Yes, please.
Through Global Housing
Technologies.
Through Global Housing Technology Challenge, we are trying to bring best technologies from all over the world to India. We want to transplant the best practices all over the world to India. And the kind of thing, I think Amritji explained that, in UK, they have a mall where you can go and see models and bring the house. So that kind of thing, if we can bring to India, it will greatly help, and it will help our deteriorating air quality. As you all know, construction is being prescribed if a PM 2.5 or PM 10 level reaches high. So we need to minimize, construction and demolition waste. We need to minimize our pollution. We have to have resource efficient. We have to build our houses quickly, and we have to change our skyline.
Right.
Okay, so we need to have technology transition through disruption.
Yes, and we're bringing technologies from around the world, which can be disruptive in the Indian scenario, which means the disruption is positive for you.
And this disruption is for the betterment.
For the better. Okay. Mr. Abhijat, closing remarks from you.
I would definitely ask all the viewers to keep us engaged, and we are all working for you in right earnest. And GSTC will be a game changer, and I'm assuring you here that today, as we explore the various kinds of technologies, I am told that given the increase in volume and the interest, this technology will not only be cheaper, but faster, better, more sustainable. and do see the Honorable Prime Minister talk to you live on this issue on the 2nd and 3rd. The program starts at about 9:30, which will be inaugurated by the Prime Minister himself. And the website, we will be on the web link. Almost all the channels will be telecasting it quite obviously, but also see the deliberations of why technology, what is livability, what is design, what is the component industry doing, what are the world leaders in technology doing, because it is going to be a sangam of sorts where these ideas will be exchanged, the Indian partners, the builders will be there, and there will be a lot of energy that will be generated. So gstc-india.gov.in is the address to be on the 2nd and 3rd, and come join the mission in making the new India. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, and that's all from us on the propagation.
Thank you.